Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, and to another fantastic weekend here at the hangar. If you guys saw the short video that I uploaded yesterday, then you noticed that we now have a replacement ground power transformer rectifier, which we will be installing here very shortly into the aircraft and doing the electrical system checkout per our manuals. One thing I wanted to do first is I need to give you guys a big thank you. Earlier this week, I saw that the channel has passed 2,000 subscribers. So a big, huge thank you to all of you that have hit that subscribe button. It means a huge amount to me. Glad you guys are liking both the stuff we do here at the hangar with the F-4, plus all the flight simulation stuff that I do too. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so here is the ground power transformer rectifier pulled out of the aircraft. This one here is our old one. And I'm not sure, nobody's told me yet where this one came from, but well, we have one now. That's our new one. So we'll be putting that in here shortly. And so here's what it actually does. So here's the diagram out of our manuals for the electrical system, and this is the ground power plug, which plugs in right there, and stuff like this power cart that we're using as a convenient shelf at the moment. So that taps off power and sends it here to this little guy, and then its output power goes to a few different places. Cabin pressure indicators, gen control panel, the power control box, and this relay panel. These are both in the Wizzo's cockpit back there on the right somewhere. This little guy controls an awful lot, especially when you're using ground power. And what this functionally is equivalent to is a power adapter like you would use for some small electronic devices or small chargers for equipment. And that's essentially what this little guy is. It's just rated for being in an aircraft, and it's very ruggedized. I don't even think this is repairable. There's no way for me to actually crack this thing open. Not in any way that won't damage anything. That is, it's pretty well sealed from the elements. So if this goes bad, then your only option is to get a replacement. But that's what we got. So that's what we're going to start with this morning. Once we install this, what we plan on doing is firing up the ground power card here and running through there's a procedure in this book here where we check out the entire electrical system. We go from step one and do all the steps and make sure that and it checks all the AC power systems, the DC power systems, the battery side, and it's just making sure that everything works before we can proceed on. Now, once we check out the electrical system, what we plan on doing is putting the hydraulic power, getting that warmed up, and putting hydraulic pressure to this, in addition to ground power. And we're going to test all the flight control surfaces, starting with PC2 system. Remember, there's two hydraulic systems, PC1 and PC2. They're kind of redundant and power all the flight control surfaces, ailerons, spoilers, rudder, the horizontal stabs in the back. So that's a big part of our procedure for getting her back in the air to complete her annual inspection. So once her inspection is current, then she is able to fly again, and that is what we're working towards. Man, there is nothing like the sound of an old radial engine. Man, I love those things. Alright, now before I got distracted, I got out my multimeter and I wanted to test both the old one and the new one to make sure that everything was okay. Alright, so I had to go grab my claw leads because I don't have three hands in order to do this and still hold the camera. So right here, I should have continuity, which I do. It's a little low. There it is. 1 ohm of resistance. That's all right. Now that is the primary side of the transformer. Now I should not have any continuity going from the AC side to the DC side of this thing, but I do. That is not good. I shouldn't have any continuity whatsoever to this set of wires. Is essentially what I'm doing is I'm measuring from this side to that side, and well, I have continuity. What I should have is a reading that says this. It's an open circuit because it's disconnected. But so this is the old one. So that has failed, and unfortunately, since it's sealed really well, I will not be able to open this without damaging it. So that's a bust. We are not able to fix that. We just have to replace it. So let me pull in this one, and I already pinned out the wires on this. So this is, again, so this is the primary side of this transformer rectifier, which 7 ohms. That is a good reading that I would expect out of a transformer winding. All right, and then going to the DC side, also nothing. That's exactly what I want to see. So the reading I was getting on this one tells me that that thing shorted out internally. No wonder we were having so many problems keeping ground power on this lady behind over here in the hangar. For a minute. I got all the right readings, and I'm expecting now that that's wired in, and before we neaten up all the wires, we're going to make sure that it's working. So we got the checkout procedure on the book right there. We're going to run through it real quick and make sure everything's good to go. But it's looking good so far. Alright guys, unfortunately the same problem exists where ground power will stay on the jet for about a minute or two and then drops off. So you guys saw me up there and then the power dropped out and we saw the screens go dark. Following the steps in the list, we popped the fuse again. Everything's looking good so far in the ground power TR, so we didn't burn that one up. Next stop it says is to go to the AC power control box, which is at the bottom of the Wizzle's cockpit on the right hand side, which we have one up on the shelves and we have one right here. So this is as it would look in the jet facing forward, and now it's telling us to pull this plug and check for ground power at that 28 volt voltage, and if we get it good, then that means that we need to replace this box, which does not seem like a fun job, because if we go to the outboard side of this, this is where our three-phase electrical power ties in. So we got terminals up on the front and on the back. And then everything's bolted down to the deck. So, yippee. What are you thinking, Al?
Let's go check it out.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Yippee.
You know, one way or the other.
Yeah, right. Alright, so here we are in the Wizzo's cockpit, and that box that I just showed you down there on top of the Dash 60 is that guy right there. So, that doesn't look terribly fun to change. I don't even... How the heck would you get this out? I'm sure there's a process for this, but... Well, now I gotta find the connector that's just back here and then test for power. Alright, so let's get this done. Alright guys, here's what we got going on now. I went up there to try to disconnect that particular plug out of that box. Now, there's a bunch of other wire and bundles and harnesses there, and I was able to find a place to get my hand in there and start unscrewing the cannon plug. And then it stopped, started feeling around some more, and this connector is lock wired in. So crew chief Al and I decided to call it a day. It's after 12 o'clock. It's really hot outside. We're both beat in having to deal with this thing, and we're starting to think that our problem may be inside this box. Because whenever we did the checkout procedure the last time, the very first step pointed to this box, and we're following the troubleshooting procedure, and it led us to this box again. So now we have two things pointing to this box. So as you guys can see inside here, that 28 volts comes in on that plug right there and controls some things inside here, especially a couple of the contactors, and that's how it moves the AC power from place to place. So next time we're out here, we'll get that plug off, we'll test it, and more than likely I have a feeling we're going to be replacing this box, which half of it is blocked from about here back. It's blocked by the ejection seat rails. So if this turns out to be our problem, it's going to be a small project just to get this thing out and then replaced. So sorry guys, I wish I had better news. We did replace the one item that had failed. That old transformer rectifier did indeed completely fail on us, but we're starting to think that wasn't our problem, that was the result of our problem. Something inside here may be drawing way too much current. That's what is blowing the fuses, and eventually we think it overheated that transformer rectifier and it failed internally. So we'll see what we can get done. That's all I have for today, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.